subscribe, turn on notifications, and make sure you go to my son's channel, GrenderGamez, and subscribe to that too. So, last time in the first vlog, I talked about snapping my fucking neck all the way to the point of surgery. So, I have been home 1 week so far. So, the first key point that the doctor is looking for is 2 weeks home. So I've been home one of those 2 weeks so far. So I guess I'll cover that and talk a little bit about that. So, I guess one place to start is where I was, where I'm at, and where most people would be at. So my feet, my calves, hamstrings, legs were 100% paralyzed. They had came back, but they were weak, almost like when you watch Nat Geo and the zebra has the baby and it just come out with the wobbly legs and look retarded. They were like that initially, but I just wouldn't accept that. Even in the hospital, I was walking around, and yeah, I was walking around at home, walking in a straight line. They felt slightly weak. The main problem was stepping, whether up to down or down to up. They felt the weakest predominantly in the calf area. Like, I couldn't press on my toes to go up, kind of. It was strange. Like, almost like you couldn't jump rope if I wanted to. I didn't care. I just kept walking. Eventually, thinking, the legs are the most used muscles in the body. And I was like, it'll get stronger for me just doing it over and over, despite how it feels. And sure enough, that went back to normal. They said I could try lunges and squats, which I have yet to try because it just went back to normal without the weakness just recently, like later in the week. My low back is pretty much normal. I had pain bilaterally in the rhomboid area initially. The right rhomboid went back to normal, and I think the left took over the pain of the right or something, because it's just, for no reason, it would just go through spurts of the most horrific pain that I can't even explain. Like, whether it was from moving the left arm too much, or I don't turn in the wrong way, my neck or anything, it would just flare up at random times for no reason. It was just a horrifying pain. And I have a high pain tolerance, but oh my god. It felt like I got an injection of everybody's inflammation from the whole city that I lived in on the left side. And it was at the most random times. Like, you could be sitting down, reach for some water, and then it was just all over. That also goes to the left trapezius muscle and the left tricep and part of the left forearm. It's just consistently sore. Like, even right now, sitting here, see this hand, my right hand, is on the chair armrest, and it's fine. When I try to hold the left arm on the chair armrest, the trap, rhomboid, and tricep of that start to just flare up and burn like I'm fucking Freddy Krueger, so that still gives me some issues. The right arm, upper part of the right arm from the elbow up is fine, 100%. From the wrist to the elbow, it's probably 99%. I don't have the hypersensitivity to touch it anymore. And for the left arm, from the wrist to the elbow, pretty close to that as well. As far as my hands go now, for the left, I can move the fingers, and they don't feel stiff really anymore. And I move them, the fingers feel flexible and mobile, but I still feel tingles in the final top part of the digit of some of the fingers that are still inflamed and sensitive to touch. The right hand is still behind the left, and I can still feel inflammation and hypersensitivity in more digits of the fingers, especially the middle two fingers of the right hand and the palm. But it's a lot better than it was. Like, it's easier to open. I'll try to show you with this. It opens a little bit better and faster. And then the right wrist hurts, but I think that's very stiff, but I think that's more so from, I broke that wrist whooping a million people's ass in boxing, kickboxing, and MMA throughout the years numerous times, and that wrist is just immobile and inflexible anyway. So when you take something like this that takes away mobility and add it to something that was immobile initially, I don't think that that's gonna help. So I don't have to be a biologist or physiologist or anything to know that. But I will have to say, I know people are probably wondering, is being home a relief compared to being in the hospital? I will have to say that no, it is not. The hospital was actually a lot better. Their beds, even though they're not kind to one's ass, they're set up in such a way to where they're designed to go various degrees until you find one that's comfortable. While home, you have a bed, like most people do. Fortunate enough to have one, and beds just don't work in this condition. The pillows do matter. If they're too soft and you sink in too much, your neck breaks. If they're too hard and you don't sink in enough, your neck breaks. If they're too flat and you go too low, your neck breaks. If it's too firm and it's too high, your neck breaks. So then you have to get to stacking pillows, and then they get too high and your neck breaks. And it's very hard to find the right pillows at the right angles and the right amount and number of them to even get the neck aligned to be comfortable. And then, because the body isn't the same, right? For example, my left rhomboid, trap, and tricep area are hurt, but then the right hand is more hurt than the left hand, so these are opposite sides. So then you bump into issues of, do you lay on your left, do you lay on your right, do you lay flat? If I lay on my left, then I can keep my right hand up from touching things because it's still sensitive, but the right arm is or the left arm rather is compromised. and my weight starts to destroy my trap, my back, and my tricep. So I don't last long in that position. And if I lay on the right arm, the left arm is in the air and everything, and it feels more comfortable. And the right side can take my body weight more. But then my hand consistently touches blankets or sheets or anything, which is still hypersensitive. And then I become fucking Jamie Foxx Electro out of Spider-Man, and that keeps me up. So then you try to lay on your back, and now you need to not only put pillows the right way behind your head, but on either arm side to keep them at the angles you need. So that's a very complicated process. Very complicated. I feel like a grown man playing like Legos or I don't know if kids play the game anymore. We used to play a game when I was young called House. So I just feel like I'm playing House and fucking arranging furniture or something. It's very disheartening. So basically, instead of being home in a hospital, I would fall asleep, right? And even after the surgery, they kept me there 2 days. I still fell asleep. But here, I was basically fighting to find a position to fall asleep. This is basically what I do. Fall asleep for about 15 minutes. Wake up, and of course when you fall asleep you have no concept of time. So then I wake up thinking that I slept, look at the phone, see that like 15 minutes have passed, 10, 15, 20 minutes, around that range. To be fair, I would probably say it was between 10 to 30 minutes anytime I fell asleep. Rarely ever reaching 30 minutes. Then I'm awake for about 30 minutes to an hour, trying to find an angle to sleep comfortably again, and in more pain than when I went to sleep, because of course you move around while you're asleep. I'm not a big mover, but I do shift angles. Then I will fall asleep for like 10 to 30 minutes again, wake up for 30 minutes to an hour, usually in more pain than the previous time, trying to find an angle again, and this goes on for hours, until finally one of the times I will wake up and I'm just fully awake and my body's like, fuck you, you're not going back to sleep, I can't do this anymore. In which I would get up, come to the gaming room, and just be a pathetic piece of shit and just sit around in my game chair, my PlayStation 5 talking to me, telling me how it's the only thing in the world that loves me and it misses me, and I can't even get on it. So that's usually my routine. That would usually be my routine, and that alone made being home more difficult. Another thing about the hospital is you have nurses. What's up, Monk 636? You have nurses that come to tend to you for you. And in case anybody ever watches this video and goes, well, yeah, they're supposed to tend to you for you. Let me tell you, nurses are a special breed, because somebody tending to you for you, I cannot explain the joy, the comfort, and the ease that brings you when you have a serious injury. And I had more than a serious injury. I had an injury that kills probably 98% of fucking people, because I broke every fucking vertebrae in my cervical spine. Let me see, Monk. Did they say you can recover with the right treatment, or is the damage permanent? Um, in 6 weeks, Monk, I will know the answer to that question. That's the big day, 6 weeks. They told me when I go get scanned and everything again. And I appreciate that, Monk. I appreciate that. And back to the nurses, that's their specialty. You would think when you go home that things are the same, but it's not. So when you get home, you have family, you have associates, and you have friends. And they come in different flavors. It's like a Neapolitan ice cream that has more than 3 flavors. And see, when I was a kid, I liked the strawberry and the vanilla in it, but not the chocolate part, right? So imagine an ice cream that's just like 50 different flavors. You're not gonna like all of them. So I'm gonna explain how it changes things and why these nurses are special. You have people who try, and they're the least category. They try to tend to you for you like a nurse, whether it's an empathic nature, whether it's just listening, which most people don't listen to shit. They hear things. I can't tell. Maybe it's a combination. Um, a person that's just aware of things. I'm not sure, but they're like nurses. They try to tend to you for you, and these people are fine. Then you have people who try to tend to you for them, meaning they think they know what's best for you, and they run with that. And despite what you say, despite how you react to things, uh, despite what you make them aware of, they continue to try to operate in taking care of you in the way they seem best. And it's very, very frustrating. It's very aggravating. It's very annoying. It raises your blood pressure. It makes you probably 10 times more aware of your situation than you even want to be. You know, especially a realist like me. I'm just focused on it anyways. And then it makes you real focused on it because you're like, if I wasn't in this situation, I wouldn't even need these people to do these things, and they're not doing it right. And it's actually making the situation a lot worse. So you have people like that. Then you have people who really don't give a shit about what's going on. They just don't want to be the odd man out, and they just want to come around just to be seen around by everybody else, to be like, hey, bro, I care. If you need anything, hit me up. And these are people you never hear from or anything else. And then after saying the little nice things, it's just like, what happened? When it happened? Why did it happen? This and this. Oh, and it's just all questions based out of curiosity that just, they, they, they go nowhere. The questions go nowhere. It's just pure conjecture and curiosity, and just so that when someone asks them, they know the answer to these questions and they can gossip. And it's clear when it's that type of person, and it's fucking annoying. To say, Monk, if in America, if you're full disabled, do they give you welfare to live on or not? You're from England. I don't know. America is very strange. So here in America, we have some things that laws that work across the whole country, and then we have different things per state. So every state has a different law, and then we have some laws that's in totality. I believe if people are disabled permanently, they could get fair to live. I don't know if it's their whole life. I believe that the amount is different based on why you're disabled, how you got disabled, and what kind of disablement there is. I will have to look into that more. If anybody ever watches this video and you know the exact answer to that, please put that in the comments. But I believe that's how it works, because my mother had an accident at her job that made her not unable to do it anymore. And I remember she got disability for a long time, but if I remember correctly, they eventually took it away, period. Even though the injury is permanent. So I don't think it lasts forever. America's a very selfish place, my friend. I don't know how it works in England. My job, well, it was a pro athlete, a trainer, and guarding rich and famous people. And I eventually retired from the combatives part, and I was just training people and guarding rich people, famous people, things like that, high-end clientele. But yeah, back to home. So that's what you bumped me to at home. So off of those two things alone, home becomes more frustrating than the hospital. Another thing with the hospital is, so I had that hyperesthesia, whatever, where my skin is very sensitive to the point where it could be touched and it felt like I was on fire, which I talked about in the last video. And I still have that to a far lesser degree now in my hands. The hospital perfectly controlled the temperature to make sure that things didn't get cold, because it was the cold would flip, like set me on fire, not warmth. You don't have that at home, okay? So we have a little thing, PG&E, as everybody knows, which for some reason the government raised the PG&E 5 times in 1 year and just raised it again. You can't keep on cold air all the time when it's summer, and you can't keep on hot air all the time when it's winter, because you would be homeless within 2 months. So that's the problem. Then, depending on the size of your house, it takes that much more power and time to heat things up or cool things off. I don't have a small home, fortunately. Alhamdulillah, blessed for that. And it's just cold or hot. And right now, unfortunately, it's cold. So luckily, most of my hyperesthesia went away. But what didn't go away, my hands would just catch on fire. I felt like Bruce Leroy, and that I had the glow, except it was just glowing the shit out of my ass. Like it just was the reverse glow. It was just beating me up, and it was bad. And that would make things very difficult here. Which luckily, shout out to Mama Robinson, she got me these heater blankets a long time ago I didn't use, which I'm sitting behind. You can see that little blanket now. And I just sit on the heater blankets all the time and have them around me, because a little science, but when you heat your core temperature, your whole body warms up. So I just keep my core temperature up, and then it helps my hands, even if the outside and everything else around is cold. So that's how I tried to mitigate that, but that was also something more difficult here. Another thing, the hospital, you just press a little button, call a little phone, they bring you food instantaneous. I don't know where that food comes from, that it comes so goddamn fast, but that's that. And here you gotta kind of just wait when you're home for people to be around to cook you something. It takes longer. They're not around, you're starving. Something not made right, your stomach hurts, you're left that way in a hospital, your stomach hurts, they have something to give you, and it's just it's almost like if you were from a different country moving to America. You're not going to be comfortable at first. It's that different. Like, the hospital felt more like home and comfortable. And I'm a person, I'm not even comfortable anywhere but home, which is crazy. I love being home. I'm an introvert, a homebody, and now home feels foreign and uncomfortable. When you add in other factors like children and this and that, and they're grabbing you and bumping you and touching your hands and this, and then people that's supposed to take care of you, taking care of you for you, doing things right, people taking care of you for them, doing things wrong and grabbing on you, it becomes it becomes almost like a horrific experience. Like, it's not quite a nightmare, but it's kind of like Alice in Wonderland, where everything is distorted, it looks weird, and not everybody is as sweet as they look. Um, so that's been a hard battle. Let me see, Monk. This is your new battle, bro. Life is so unpredictable. Your luck changes, bro. Life's been making others positive now. Test it back with yourself. Really sorry for you. Only can do it. A fighter like yourself takes time to heal the mind and body. Milestone, imagine yourself walking again, everything in mind. Being a trainer. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's crazy. I have high mental fortitude, and I know how hard this is for me, which is why I'm doing these vlogs for people who don't have the same mental fortitude. Doesn't make me any better than them. You know, they have strengths I don't have, in hopes it can help people, because it's very hard. I found myself, with my one thumb I could use on the phone, job searching and looking at new jobs that I like, for no goddamn reason, for hours, with a broke fucking neck. Like, for no reason. They could call me tomorrow, I can't work it. And like, it's very strange. I'm a person, I'm usually very active. Not lazy, I like to work, I like to learn, I like to be active, I like to better my mind and body, and it's just stuck. So I'm just doing weird things like that. And but in a weird way, it keeps me sane in some ways. And I don't know, my advice to anybody that's going through something, find something. It don't matter if it's the strangest goddamn thing in the world. Find something that keeps you busy. It don't even have to be anything significant or real. Like, yeah, it doesn't have to be anything significant. Find something that keeps you busy, that just doesn't matter what it is, if it's the same every day, not the same, because it is like that Nietzsche quote, when you're just looking into the abyss too long and all this stuff, and it sucks you in. It's a constant pull, like a black hole, and you have to find something to pull you in the other direction, or else you will get sucked in. And other thing, Monk, yeah, you said something which I appreciate, but I have to advise against it. I've spent my whole life doing for others, which is very unhuman-like, because most people are selfish, self-centered, entitled, and that's just, unfortunately, quote-unquote human nature. And the same people will want help and things from other people. Conversely, I've spent my whole life sacrificing things, money, time, wealth, my own body, numerous things for other people, where I could be way further ahead in life if I didn't do that. And I would not advise anybody against helping anybody, but take it from me, be very selective in who you help. I used to try to help everybody. And let me tell you, when something like this happened, I can count on less than 10 fingers the people who just really, really stepped in to help. And that is not to take away from the people who did what they can on the GoFundMe, because shout out Dr. Joyce at Some Dental. She started a GoFundMe for me, and a lot of people have given there. I appreciate that. Just talking about, like, people don't understand the level that I've helped people. drug addicts. I've gotten off of drugs. Alcoholics, I took care of them and paid for everything to get them off of alcohol. Help people get cars, pay people rent, homeless people homes, save people's lives. Literally got people in gangs, out of gangs. I can't have people no careers, people no jobs, jobs. I can't explain to you the things that I've done for people that I don't talk about because it's just what I do. But so I'm just talking about it on a different level, not to disparage anybody who gave to the GoFundMe. Just talking about you would think something like this, there would be more people there for me on a deep level than less than 10, less than 5. So, even the GoFundMe was a weird thing. I had to like get out of a certain place with that because people were giving to the GoFundMe and I recognize a lot of people that I've known a long time. So I would see people that I've helped tremendously. Like they literally are making 6, 7 figures today. And I was a huge part of that process where they would have never got there if I wasn't there helping them. Me and other people. And I would see them give like $20 or $50. And I know what they have now because I was part of getting them there. And I'm like, really? All the shit I did for you? And then I would see people I know don't have anything. And I know they have kids, nothing, anything. Give like $200-300 and I would be like, no. And things. So you learn a lot about people, you know? But, and I was just feeling like bad when I see people with nothing giving a lot, and then pissed off when I see people I've helped with a lot that have a lot give nothing. And then I was like, wait, what the fuck is wrong with me? Because in reality, I didn't help any of these people for them to be obligated to help me. Like I teach my kids, you have to bear your own cross, right? You have to bear your own cross. Because if people do a lot for you and you become blessed, and you don't want to really bless anybody back, you have to hope that you yourself never get in the position to need those blessings. And then it doesn't come back around a second time. Or worse, the sins of the father fall and put it to the son, right? That it doesn't happen to your kids and nobody's there for them. You know? So I believe in always doing right for right. You know, so that hopefully you have a circle that just everybody's taking care of everybody. Like, shout out to my brother James Shaney from Ultimate Fighter. Like, people say, oh, I'd die for you, homie. That shit's a lie. He would die for me and I would die for him. That's how much we got each other's back, right? I hope you find a circle of people like that really, really have your back. And like, they got the money, it's yours. Like, it don't matter. You know what I mean? But I found myself in that weird place, and then I just had to get out of it. I was like, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And people are doing that. Alhamdulillah, that I'm alive. Alhamdulillah, I can walk. I can talk. Alhamdulillah, people are even giving anything because they don't have to give anything. And I had to just change my mindset on it because I'm a realist and I go too much by logic. So I would start analyzing like, oh, this person got this, I did this, and I was like, that's the wrong way. Just alhamdulillah. And it brought me peace. You know what I mean? Allah has a path for everything, and sure enough, I'm gonna figure out what that is here because I have nothing but time on my hands to think, and I've already been thinking about what I'm gonna do with my body to turn my body to what it was in my prime of my fight career and beyond. Not to redo a fight career, but to just be a full, capable, healthy human being for my family for as long as I can. One that sets me up is the example of a pinnacle of health, strength, power, stamina, and everything to bring my body to the peak so my kids see that and follow that example, and where I could always fulfill my role as a father of protection, and especially since I'm still in that job field anyways. And then I've just been studying things because all I can do is read and thinking what I want to do next as far as career goes, and things go after all this. Like, what's the next job I want to do that's better than what I was doing? What's the next business I want to start that's better than what I had done before in these things? So whatever happens, I'm coming back different. Like, people say they built different, and that shit just be a goddamn lie. People like talk themselves up. I'm gonna come back different. And let me see, Mom. Well done thinking that way. Most positive thing you can do this time. Does your YouTube pay anything at 7 or 10? Let me tell you something about YouTube. YouTube don't pay nothing. Dude, I think you gotta have millions of followers. So my YouTube, ironically, only exists because of my son. I love my oldest dearly, my firstborn, and he wanted to be like a YouTuber and Twitch person. Twitch, unfortunately, you have to be a PC person for Twitch to do anything. Because we initially tried Twitch, but he's a console player, PlayStation for life. Shout out Sony, even though they be doing some funky stuff. But Twitch just wasn't good for that. The PC people can customize their dashboards and do this and this. It's just too many advantages. While on PlayStation, you stream on Twitch, it's just a screen. You're just never gonna compete. So I told him, like, why don't you do YouTube? And he absolutely adores Corey Kenshin, which is great. Corey Kenshin's black, my son's half. And he likes Kai Cenat, of course. He was on YouTube and Twitch. RDC World, King Vader. A lot of these guys were big on YouTube, and plus they're black, so he kind of resonates with that. Always some people in my race that's doing what I want to do. He likes Mr. Beast, how he gives back with everything. So he's like, cool, let's go that route. So I told him I would help him. Got him some computer stuff, a little editing program, help him teach and all that. But my son is very smart and gets bored very fast, and he thinks things come very easy. So I pretty much have to upload all the damn videos. I'm not going to spend time editing videos. So I just put 1 million videos on this channel to keep it going. And every blue moon he edits something and it comes out fan-fucking-tastic. The boy's talented, and the videos always blow up, but he does it inconsistently. And I just put things on here to help him go, to keep it going. Which eventually, after many years, over 10 years, he got to 17, which if he would have just been editing videos, it would have got there much faster and probably blew up. So we can't do monetize, but it gives literally, like, because don't get me wrong, we get thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of views, even for this little channel. You know, shout out to everybody who views this, little minuscule people like us. And we have not even reached like $100, you know. So don't do it for money. Don't do it for money. I help with this for the love of my son. Don't do it for money, because you really have to be up there to make anything from this. 100K subs, 20 million views. He gets paid peanuts. Not even 1,000 a month. Yeah. No, we ain't even got $100. So you getting somewhere 500, 600, 700 a month. He's luckier than us. So, but back to the topic. That has been my experience since being home so far. How I've been dealing with things. home compared to the hospital, how I'm persevering through this, what my plans are through this, my line of thinking through this, how I plan to get by through this, the dark side of things I was thinking through this, how I got myself out of that, and everything else. Do I plan on fighting this year? How many miles a week do you recommend for road work? Oh no, I'm not doing shit this year. Dude, you ever see those little karate movies when somebody's neck broke and they die? Just imagine they neck broke and they somehow live. That's me. Road work, don't do it for miles. Just turn on the clock for 30 minutes and jog. However far you get, young man. But yeah. Shout out to, Goon Squad in May. My students, they've been very supportive, sending heartwarming messages. Open Mat Academy, Tracy, California. Shout out to all the little people there and everything. Been sending heartwarming messages and supportive as well. My buddies, the Cardona family, everything like that. Sharing my GoFundMe, everything. I appreciate it, and inshallah, I'll be back in a whole different version. You see, I had like 1.0, then in my 30 to 35, I turned to 2.0, and now I gotta then I turn back to like 1.0 and shit like that. I just depowered, and then like Gohan after the Cell Saga, now I gotta turn to 3.0. I gotta be on like, after this, some broily shit. It just gotta get animalistic after this. But we will see what after this is. So when you have an injury like this, so people know, the key points is 14 days is the first checkpoint. Then 6 weeks is the big checkpoint. Like of the very important one, because they need to see if they need to go back in there to fix things. It's a big checkpoint. And then if you get past that, fine, it is 6 months. And 6 months to pretty much say, hey, this is what the fuck the rest of your life is, which they tried to fix that at 6 weeks before it gets to that 6 months, so that you get that A and it's something that you want it to be. So that's been my experience the first week home, and I hope that if anybody watches this vlog, that it helps you for whatever you're going through in life, whatever injuries you're going through, whatever illnesses you're going through, pathologies, anything. Just stay positive, get through it, and alhamdulillah, things you are taken care of, and taking care of yourself. Remember to take care of yourself. It is very strange when you cannot, especially when you're independent like me. It's more horrifying when you can't. To be honest, some people probably would be loving it being waited on, but not me. So that's my experience so far. Make sure you go in the comments when this video loads. The GoFundMe will be anything in there. If you could give anything, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm off too. Appreciate it, Monk. And appreciate anybody who watched this video or will watch later, and I'm out.